So yeah, what would the black cat do? Might bite my cat. They have had fights. Okay, so I went up to my little cat and I took it onto my arm, and he was asleep, you know, the warmth of this black plastic surface in the sun, and also the rain beforehand. I saw him drink from that, or at least he tried. I saw that he did this typical drinking movements and all that, like posture he had. So yeah, I took him home, and after that he was like getting worse and worse, and it didn't take long and then he died. I can look it up. So when he had died, I looked up when he was the first time appearing at home really in a bad shape. So that one was a week ago. I could have done stuff for a whole week. I mean, he was gone between and stuff. Once he was gone for 4 days and 3.5 days, but that was because of the inflamed paw. So I don't really remember how long he was gone with this virus. It's just that when he then returned, he was really not well. You know, before he was a bit meandering when he walked. Like his feet would not walk securely. You know, you could tell that he's like insecure or kind of you know, shaking. Like when he had put down his paw, he was sort of like shaking, kind of weak. And by then I didn't know, was it because of not eating, was it because now it could have been everything, not eating, not having enough air, and the sight, because his eyes were inflamed. So by then I started to kind of see that his eyes were not well. I have a picture that I took one morning before I let him out again, you know. That's so funny. So he wouldn't eat. He looked at the can and he was like, you know. And I was like so helpless. What can you do with a cat if you have its most favorite food and you open the can and it smells so nice, and he looks at it with, you know, like I could, now that I remember, I have even videoed this very short, you know, I did video like 5 minutes. That I remember, I have rewatched it. He went like, I'm so, I can't eat that, you know. He wasn't eagerly storming the mashed potatoes that I offered him, and then realizing, oh, I cannot eat. He was already looking at it and knowing, I cannot eat it, it hurts. So then is, like I found out then about the stomatitis. When he was gone, I had time to be on the internet, and I found out about the white stuff on his tongue and the kind of pain he must be in. So when then he returned, I knew that I had to force feed him. But I did it like 1 millimeter at a time. So the pipette I gave him was like, you know, liquid something. He got in a lot of water by that, but not really nutritional values, how do you say? Because the pipette could only contain liquids. So I did that, and I wasn't really liking doing so. He didn't like to, you know, I was not knowing how to open his mouth, and I was always giving it in the front. So at the beginning I was not knowing where exactly, but then I knew it had to be a bit just below the nose, so that he would go up with his tongue and then it would just run into his mouth. But then on the internet it says feed him from the side. I never did so, because he would open his mouth when he had the liquid on his nose, and then I would lower his head a bit so that he could swallow. Yeah, so after maybe a day or two I realized he's going, thinner and thinner. So I took a glove and I opened the glove in the front. So you see, I was full of adrenaline, and I was like, how can I rescue this cat? By normal means: food, water, coffee cream, coolness in the shadow, and some vinegar on his ringworm, because he was developing a ringworm on his back. So I thought, let's do it all. If the ringworm weakens him, also fight that one. He didn't have that one during winter time, so it was something that he newly developed, and because of him being so much under my loop, I found out about that ringworm creating this fur anomaly, like in a ring on his, and vinegar can make it go away. Yeah. So I forced him to eat some kind of thicker stuff. Like, I went down and I even had him at home. I didn't let him out. And I had him somewhere where he could pee wherever he wanted, and he wouldn't kind of hit a carpet, so one room was closed. So when I got home, I had this very liquid kitten food, which still contained quite a lot of, nutritional value. So I gave him that one, and he ate like whole. By like some 2 hours, a whole one of these was gone, and I was so happy. My adrenaline was so peaking. So when he ate, all the good hormones flushed, and I was like in relief for like half a day. The evening was good, he ate. But then next morning and again, all these, like, I bought the whole package. All that I offered, he wouldn't eat, and it got really hot. And so I went outside into the shadow with him, and I gave him the sun shade, and he was just sitting there with his head towards the wall, eyes closed, getting thinner. Yeah. And I should then, when the helicopter was landing twice during a day, twice a helicopter was coming and going and coming and going. And I thought to myself, why not give the puppy to those people to get it somewhere to a vet? They wouldn't go kill it. We aren't in like some kind of a country where they just, would go, we have too many puppies and dogs and cats, we'll kill it. That one isn't happening in Switzerland. But I didn't trust the people. We have a situation where a cat belongs to someone and is a thing. So you gotta kind of either own this cat, and then you're responsible for its well-being. And I wasn't the owner of this cat. And since beforehand the vet didn't understand that this cat lives at my house, but I'm not the owner. If I move, I won't take the cat with me. You would take away all and everything from a cat if you take away the territory. The cat isn't so much dependent upon me. It could be anyone feeding it. And beforehand, it was someone else feeding the cat. Understand? But I knew that I will always live there as long as the cat is alive. I wouldn't want to go just because, I got some better option. If there is a cat, I will stay. But the thing is, a cat being so helpless, I then also they might create a legal situation against me, because I have told you about this rubbish bag situation, and the people from the police in the valley are so stupid. It's the same as in Zurich, biggest financial city in Switzerland, when there is a house owner dealing with liquid LSD and you tell them, they just go, oh yeah, she probably made it up, and everybody went like this. No one helped and took it serious, and it really happened. Well, you can read it in a book of mine. I'm writing it right now, sort of. It'll be finished by the end of the year. And, you know, some woman was lying me. I have hit out a tooth. No, she was dumping rubbish. So I called the police and I told them and I guided them to her house. So when she opened the door, they went like, we are in thinking mode about all of this. Oh yeah? So if someone hits out your tooth, you still got to think about calling the police? Yeah, by that very sentence, you kind of told us that there was no tooth being hit out by me. That's a pure lie from this Portuguese. You know, and she went like talking in Portuguese to me. I'm sure she wasn't saying nice things. So the police went like, well, this time it's gonna be an even harder case and you're gonna be held responsible for it this time. Why? Because this time? Well, because, you know, there's been a woman taking a photo of me because she was like living nearby and she always saw me leaving with my bike, singing happily, dancing happily. I don't know what she saw and I don't know what she's about. She just took a photo, so I just grabbed her and didn't let her go, and I told her, you just, you know, stay here. Now we call the police. I want to see that photo erased. So she was like trying to flee. Someone else was passing by, not liking me too much, having seen her more often. And then he told her, leave. That's not allowed in Switzerland. When you tell someone, I don't know your address, you stay here. It's a law, you gotta stay. So when the police arrived, that asshole man told the police, hello, and then he told them, goodbye. You know, the police didn't go, well, you stay here. We might want to question you about this too. And also, when I told them, you know, the man there wouldn't let me call the police because I didn't have a cellular phone. I told him call the police and he didn't. Like for 10 minutes the woman was like driving into my legs and biting me, and he was trying to hold me, but at that time I was doing some arm lifting, heavy weights, like a 20 liter, 15 liter washing detergent canister. I was lifting quite a bit, so I was always freeing myself from his grab and still getting like to hold on to her. So she was in the end like really falling from her bike, not being able to even turn the bike around and stuff like that. So when the police arrived, they didn't find the photo because she by then deleted it once she was at the bush, at the tree. And I remember her like doing, you know, in a really nervous way, something on her cellular phone again. So yeah, when the police arrived, the photo was gone, but you know, still I told them, you know, we are at the station up there. There is a camera. Just get the video and you'll see how that he was telling her to leave, which is illegal and stuff like that. So I don't trust the police at all. They're just stupid. So I'll start again.